Joining me live now to understand what is being described as a SaaSpocalypse and how we should navigate, what is coming and what is already here. Very happy to be joined by Nikhil Pava, founder and editor of Media Nama, very sought-after commentator on all things tech. Nikhil, good to see you. Thank you for being with me. Kanishk Agarwal is an AI and tech expert, CTO Judge Group of member of the Forbes Technology Council, and Neil Shah, Vice President Research and co-founder of Counterpoint Research. Welcome to all of you, to Neil, Kanishk and Nikhil. I'll start it off with you, Nikhil. I've just provided a very broad sort of contour of what I understand SaaSpocalypse to really be about. I've simplified it greatly, obviously, for a general audience, but this is in many ways something where a chatbot goes entirely to the next level, replaces entire workflows, and that's why companies across the globe have reacted the way they have. Your take on this, Nikhil?
I think, Shiv, we've been waiting for this to happen because the signs have been there for the last few months, especially when Claude Code started blowing up. And I think we should remember that Claude Cowork was actually created entirely by AI in about a week and a half or 2 weeks of time. So AI created this product that we're talking about. I have personally used Claude Code to build apps for myself, including a personalized health data app. I've used a personalized newsreader because I wanted it to have the specifications that I wanted.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that some of this was like Claude Code made it in 15 to 20 minutes. So we are moving to an era where AI can create an app for you in, at times, less than 10 minutes. I made something for a friend in 7 minutes. So you're talking about 10-minute app delivery now, right? Yeah. And so what does that do to the settled applications ecosystem across the world? I think these apps still have glitches. They have holes. You can't really use them on the internet. Multiple people still can't use them. But the fact is, this technology is moving so fast, it's improving so much, so quickly, that a SaaSpocalypse is upon us, but it has been expected for a while, right? I would say I was at GSF's, which is a VC fund. They had a conference today in Gurgaon, and this was one of the things that was discussed there. But what I came away with in that conversation was that SaaS is not dead. It has shrunk. SaaS is still very complex. There are SaaS applications that are deeply embedded in the workflow of organizations. So while apps can change and apps can be made fast and they can be customized more, sometimes the level of customization is such that the humans are the bottleneck. We don't want to change. So while Wall Street is reacting really aggressively to this, I think for this to percolate across organizations, imagine how slow banks are to move, right? It will take a while. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, is all I'm saying. But the tech is there. I can see it. I use it. I play with it. It's a lot of fun. I think everyone should try this out.
It's dramatic, Kanishk. It's happening really, really fast, blazingly fast. One couldn't imagine building your own apps, all by yourself. And, Nikhil makes an excellent point. Claude Cowork was literally built, using AI. How do you see this? How big is this?
See, this is definitely big, from the perspective, because if you look into the platform perspective, it is capable of reading, reasoning, and executing knowledge work end to end. And if you believe on the traditional SaaS models, the applications that are there, they have focused more on the feature complexity, long onboarding of the user, and per user licensing model, right? Yeah. So what this model has challenged is the business model. It has challenged it that you cannot go for per seat license and billable hours. So if you look into the Indian IT companies as well, they have always benefited from the traditional model, which was of the effort into time, and that is my billable hours. But now it has rechanged this billability, and it's talking about outcome. What is the value that I'm able to thrive within that timeline? So if you look into these IT companies, they drive a lot of the revenue from application development, testing, support, and managed services. So any person who is a complacent and mediocre, I'm talking mediocre means that you're not adding value to the ecosystem, you're slow, you're not able to innovate, you're not doing system design or architecture. I think time is gone. So for you, it's important that you focus on innovation, execute it better, and then use these tools to allow you to work faster and better for the organization and for the business where you want to add value.
Absolutely. Neil, your take on this, it wasn't surprising in the least that you saw stocks across many companies and indices tumble, as soon as, Claude Cowork and those plugins were actually unveiled for across 11 sectors, including legal tech. Were you surprised by what happened? It was almost immediate.
Yeah, I think it's more of a fundamental shift if you look at for most of the IT companies. So, everyone had a habit of charging per hour basis, man hour basis. That is completely going to go away with this, right? So it's going to be more on outcome based, and we don't. Can you hear me? Yeah, we don't need humans actually for doing the grunt work, because it's actually transforming from a system of software to system of agents, and these agents are actually able to think fast, able to think laterally, do it more efficiently, right? Available 24/7. There is no drama, there is no emotion, right? And eventually it is more of a completely system where different agents talk to each other, right? So it makes it even more efficient. So, and we are moving from more of a software engineering to more of a prompt engineering, right?
Yeah.
As like Nikhil said, he created an app in 10 minutes. I was vibe coding over the weekend, and I created one of the apps in for 15 minutes. And he's absolutely right. It's so simple. I am an engineer, but I'm not a coding expert, right? And what we are seeing with Claude Cowork, it's not only just going to augment different companies to create, build new software, QA the software, but also it is helping the normal users to arrange all of their data for personal AI. It's not just about enterprise AI, right? So you can arrange all your files, all your images all together. And with different plugins, you can actually augment all the different work, trying to understand the legal part of it or HR and so forth. So it's very revolutionary.
Nikhil, I want you to paint us, you can add to that, Nikhil, and I also want you to, paint our viewers a picture of how things can change within, you choose any industry of your choice to try and illustrate an example for us of how this tech can completely revolutionize and change workflows. Nikhil.
So before I get to workflows, I want to just say that there's a paradigm shift that's taking place because applications as we had, like SaaS apps, were built to give us outputs. Agents actually are giving us outcomes. So if you give them a task, if they need to create an app to give you the outcome that you want, it'll create an app, give you the outcome, and just that's all that you care about. There are times when, for example, Claude, OpenClaw, which is now being deployed for personal use cases on WhatsApp, email, etc. There are times when it can anticipate your needs. So if it knows on your calendar that you have a meeting coming up, it can even automatically, without your permission, generate notes by searching the web so that you are prepared for your meeting even without asking it. So I think one of the other shifts that's taking place is that these agents are using autonomous agents that are coming into play, which if, for example, if they hit a boundary or if they hit a problem, they will learn and find a way to work around the problem, because their goal is to give you the outcome that you want or something that it thinks that you would expect. So this is very close to thinking and anticipating as human beings do, as your personal assistant might do. And so we are way ahead of where we were last year. We're way ahead of where we were last week or last couple of weeks ago. In fact, this is moving so fast that I honestly cannot anticipate how it will impact any industry, because every job today is up for grabs with AI. You're seeing these are foundational models that we saw that you thought will assist us, that we will chat with, but bit by bit they're shrinking, the jobs that have to be done by human beings by allocating those jobs to AI. So, for example, a personal assistant's job is gone. A content writer's job went 3 years ago when ChatGPT launched. Coders' jobs are severely under stress. So bit by and it's hitting both entry level as well as decision making level at times, because you now no longer need, for example, a CEO doesn't necessarily need a chief of staff anymore, or the chief of staff is super efficient. So if someone had more than one, they can do with one. So you're going to see shrinking across the workflow, across the value chain, and we aren't even getting to when what will happen in factories, because last year I was at Super AI and we saw humanoids, and they anticipate that there will be humanoids in factories, about 1 million of them by 2030 and about 10 million by 2035. I think they're being conservative because they're already being used in shipbuilding in South Korea. So bit by bit, things that we do, like deliveries through drones, are already happening.
Yeah.
You already have self-driving cars in the US. Obviously, India's traffic is a different problem to solve. But you're seeing stages of replacement coming in, first starting with content and creation, then starting with actions, which is now what we have with agents. We will see this happen with physical actions eventually. And you will also see it with manufacturing, with 3D printing. There are buildings being 3D printed in China.
Yeah.
So bit by bit, you're seeing all parts of the work of what we do today getting replaced.
Incredible. All of those things that Nikhil has just mentioned, it's only a matter of time before they happen at scale, perhaps. They're already happening. It's only a matter of time before they happen in a bigger way. Kanishk, we've seen what's been happening to companies, SaaS companies and others. How are they preparing for this? Because it's only going to get bigger, as Nikhil said.
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned, business model definition and adoption has to go. So the way they approach this has to change. From a Claude perspective, it's an enterprise-ready product, which is more predictable. The benefit here is that you have the human in the loop in the paradigm here. So that means the decision is not made by Claude. So there is no chance of hallucination. It tells you that whether it's feasible or not to take that. So you cannot remove the human part in the value chain ecosystem. And it reduces the friction in the regulated industry. So let's look at engineering, pharmaceutical, other. So I think from an Indian IT company landscape, I think we have these layered approvals and human oversight already in our ecosystem. All we need to do is we need to adopt this model into our business model a little bit more strategically, ensure that we utilize these AI co-workers more intelligently into our ecosystem, and ensure that how we can add value to the businesses that we are serving. So I think it's not about reinventing the wheel, but it's more about not retreat altogether.
Okay. Nikhil has an interjection. Nikhil, go ahead.
I had a very quick point. I think the human in the loop condition or requirement is actually shrinking, because people are identifying where is it where there is greater risk and where is it where error is tolerable. So you do have autonomous agents that are performing these actions without a human in the loop, because I don't care if the code that it's writing is accurate or not. If it's on my device, if it's not exposing my personal accounts, etc., I'm okay with it as long as it gives me the outcome I want. So what we're faced with right now is a requirement to assess what our risk profile is and where do we need intervention, because there are agents that are also acting without human intervention. They're deciding what you might need and acting for you as well. So Claude Cowork aside, I think we have to look at OpenClaw and what that is doing, because that's where actually real autonomous behavior is coming in. It might not impact SaaS companies right now, but it's an indication of what's ahead of us.
The human in the loop, the space for the human in the loop is shrinking, Neil. How do you see that, what Nikhil just said?
I think with all the systems, it is going to boost the productivity. Everything is great. But what is happening is there should be a standardized protocol on how different agents should talk to each other. There should be a governance layer and a strong policy management on what data is accessible and what data should be used and what data is not sent back to the cloud to be trained, right? So if I have an intellectual property where I have my algorithm and I have, as a company, I've built a code base using Claude Cowork. That code should not be going back to the Claude Cloud or Anthropic Cloud, and they can reuse it to help other companies build the similar product, right? So I think that governance layer at IP protection is important. At the same, there are, since this becomes more autonomous, it's going to be very difficult to control from security point of view in terms of if there is a malicious code within particular data we are extracting from a PDF file, for example, right? And a PDF file has embedded a malicious code, then the agent will parse it as a normal text and it could inject back into the system, right? So there are a lot of open-ended, I would say, security lapses which could happen. And that is where a governance layer is very important. Human in the loop is definitely important. So there will be agents which will create the code, do the QA, but it has to be signed off by humans.
Nikhil, a question that one often hears, when we're on this topic is people feeling overwhelmed, by what they see. They feel overwhelmed. There is this anxiety about, not doing it right, missing the bus. It's moving so fast that they're not, staying on the level with it. Am I making full use of something that's changing everyone else's life? What would you say to those individuals, Nikhil, right now about what we're talking about?
So look, there are two ways of looking at it. Either you can say that life is passing you by, or you can take it as a game, think of it as a playground, go into the playground and try the different rides, right? So that's what I'm doing. I actually absolutely love this space. I am obsessed with it. I'm spending most of my day playing around in AI, trying different tools, building some things. It's a lot of fun, and that's how I'm able to write about it, because I'm also experiencing it. I'm building an understanding of it. Unless we experiment and play, it will leave us, it'll pass us by.
Yeah.
I would rather be excited about OpenClaw and Moltbook and whether agents are forming their own social network and whether they are plotting to take over the world, and all that excitement is actually, for me, it's positive. I get a lot of energy from that excitement, right? So I'd say it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
If you think this is moving too fast, you are right, which is why it's important to try to remain on top of it and try and play around with it, allocate some time, allocate time on the weekend to try and look at a YouTube video and figure out, maybe even just connecting Claude Code to Obsidian as a starting point, right? So start playing is what I'm saying. Where to start is a tricky part.
Yeah.
And that's where the work lies. You got to go and read tweets and comments and look up videos and see where you want to go with this.
Yeah, no, and following Nikhil Pava on social media is one place to start. So you can start plugging into what you should be reading. But last word to you, Kanishk. Get out and play, says Nikhil. That's the only way to do it. Stop being anxious, get out and find a way to get into it.
I have a different take on it. So see, AI may help us move fast, right? But it can also break trust. So hallucinations, because there are different AI models there. So what is important is that if you are a resource simply using it, or a business, it is important that you take the responsibility, understand that what is inclusion, what is the business case, use case where you want to apply, and how you can scale that to derive that business value.
Yeah.
So the tools like Claude, they align with the vision, but it is important for us to be smarter, safer, and stronger.
Well, I'm very inspired to get out and play, I can tell you, and I've learned a lot speaking to the three of you. Thank you very much, Nikhil, Kanishk, and Neil. I promise you that NDTV will do its best to put out authentic information in this very, very exciting space. We're going to try and do something each week, and we'll have you back here on the show. Thank you for your time, gentlemen, here on NDTV. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.